you guys are the last ones to be dropped off, and you just have to use your sense. You have to start learning that common sense and what's going to work to keep you safe, to keep you alive and happy. And
well, I think you said something that's really important is to talk about it. I think, you know, like I said before, people just shove it in the back, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen to me. But by talking about it, helps you to become aware, helps you to know that your friends are aware, helps them to know that, yes, you know what's going on, that everybody's on the same page, we're not acting like this thing doesn't exist. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's kind of a hush-hush thing, it's taboo to talk about, you know, when it happens, people feel ashamed, you know, they don't want to tell anybody. But the more people who are sharing, the more people who are talking about it, the more informed that we are, the more we can help other people out there, other women out there.
Absolutely.
So the better off we're going to be. Now, how these bars don't want these, they don't want to sell them, or they don't want them in, you know, they don't want to be giving them out, and why is that?
They're afraid that if they were to freely distribute them or to sell them at the bar, that women would think that drug-facilitated rapes or drug facilitation, whatever, has happened in that bar. And they're afraid that it's going to scare women away. And women, to bar owners, are a commodity. The more women, the more beautiful women you have in your bar, the more men you have. And men buy more women drinks and all that. So it's part of the...
But then you can also look at it from the opposite point of view, saying, oh, well, we could get more women in there because they're going to feel safer.
Exactly. The first bar that does that will be the smartest bar in town.
Because, I mean, you could definitely say, well, you know, we're going to be safer. You know, this is getting awareness out there for women to let us know, hey, we're on your side. You know, we're looking out for your safety. Come in and you're going to feel safe. You're going to feel that we care about you as a bar, as individuals, as we're individuals caring about you. But then they could also say, well, the men who are doing this aren't going to want to come into our bar. And unfortunately, a lot of bars, it's like the bottom line. You know, if men aren't coming in, if we're losing business, then we're losing money. But the sad thing is it's like, well, if those are the men who are doing it, why do we want them anyway?
Exactly.
Why can't they look at it from, it's all about perspective. Why can't they look at it from that point of view?
Right.
As opposed to saying, hey, we're losing business. Well, do you really want that business?
Exactly. Exactly.
So bars can actually purchase the coasters if they want. They can
in bulk and have them customized.
Okay, so tell us the two little circles again on the coaster.
The two little circles, one tests for GHB and one tests for ketamine.
Okay, so they test for, you have to do it on both circles then?
Yeah, because there's two tests on each, and on each test there's two circles. Okay. Ketamine is used, from the statistics that we have, ketamine is used as a drug-facilitated drug. Okay. 81% of the time. GHB is. Ketamine is used 11% of the time. So even though there's these other cousins out there that are used, it's such a small percentage that we're going to, you know, fight the first ones, the most popular ones first. Okay, and this isn't 100% effective. This is, well, it's 98% accurate. Okay. And so, no, it's not 100% effective. Accurate, yes, that's a better way. It's 98% accurate. It's not 100%. It doesn't cover everything. And that is one of the reasons why some people don't want it out there. Because they feel it's not magic and it's not going to cover everything. Well, it's not the silver bullet. Well, you have to start somewhere, and the problem is there's not going to be anything that's going to cover every single thing out there. Exactly. Because when that thing starts covering everything that's out there today, there's going to be something different out there tomorrow. There'll be something different. And there's going to be something different out there the next day. And it's like, you know, condoms are, what, 80% effective? But you always have sex with a condom. I mean, you know, and it's so it's kind of, you know, you're better off using this than not using it. And if you're out somewhere and you, especially if you don't know the people, then you're just going to be safer. They may be scared and intimidated of you, but you're going to be safe. Right. And that's the most important thing. And this is for only drug-induced rape, for prevention of drug-induced rape. Yeah. It's not, I don't want people to think it's going to prevent all kinds of rape. Right. If you test every drink, you know, then you're definitely not going to get raped. Right. This isn't, you know, a magic cure that it's never going to happen. Right. But it's one more thing that we can put on our plates to be aware
and to say, hey, this is, you know, we're safer this way for ourselves and for people around us. So what is the message that you would like people out there to know, especially women?
That there are many things that they can do to prevent this. They can still live their lives, they can still go to bars, so have a good time and be safe. And to talk to each other about it, to let them know to protect each other. And to, you know, it's just a tool to raise awareness of what's going on and that it's quickly becoming an epidemic. And but there are measures you can take and things you can do beyond testing on a coaster, but just really, you know, utilizing that group mentality and taking care of each other.
Right. And also, we don't want people to think that this is just happening in bars. Like we said before, it can happen at a bridal shower. It can happen
at your friend's house.
Yeah, it can really, it can happen where you really maybe least expect it. I mean, probably the more commonplace is going to be at a bar. But I don't want people out there to think, oh, well, it cannot happen anywhere else, because it can, this is one of those things that it can really happen anywhere.
In the workplace, in a soda, in a water, it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that never even occurred to me at a workplace.
Yeah.
I was only thinking like at social functions and stuff. That
Anywhere.
opens up like a huge can of words saying it can happen at the workplace. I can't, oh my gosh, my mind just like went all kinds of places with that. That just opens up so many things that, oh, that's really scary to think about. And another thing we want to get out there is that if you have blacked out, if something just does not feel right with you, go to the emergency room, go to the doctor and find out exactly what happened. And if the drug is out of your system, go back 4 to 6 weeks later, because it is that important. I mean, you want to find out. You don't want to live with the, you know, okay, well, what if maybe this happened, you know, maybe that happened. And if it does happen, report it, because the more we find out, the more we know about it, I just think it's going to be that much greater. And with the coasters, it starts with this. It starts with prevention, starts with awareness, starts with information. And the coaster is just a beginning, but it's a way to feel safe. It's a beginning, like I said. Thank you so much for joining me, Jennifer. Thank you for all the information. I know it's going to help people out there. I feel so much better, you know, knowing that something like this exists and knowing that there is an outlet that we as individuals can go purchase this. We don't have to wait for bars to have it. We can empower ourselves as women or men out there to say, hey, I want to make sure that there's nothing in this drink so I feel safe and comfortable going to these places with girlfriends or a girlfriend or whatnot. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on Jessica. And if you have any questions or you'd like more information about these coasters or about anything that we talked about today, you can email me in the email that is in the credits. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Jessica.